Good morning. Today we are continuing with chapter 7 in religion. We have already done the top part, being human, so you should have the top part of your reading guide filled in. Today we are down to our second section, the body and soul. So let's open up our religion books, and you're going to have to, Peyton, can you share books with Will? Nolan, did you have a question?
Yeah. I couldn't find it.
Couldn't find your what? Your reading guide?
Yeah.
Let me see if I have any extras. Were the reading guide stapled, or is it just one page today?
One page.
So make sure you fill out that top section. So you should have your books open to page 80, and you should have your reading guide. Is there anybody else missing their reading guide? All right, so on page 80, body and soul. The human person is a living being made up of both a physical body and an immortal spiritual soul. So a soul is the spiritual element that gives humans life and survives after death. So the body dies, the soul lives on. The soul is eternal. Our soul is created by God at the moment of conception. After our death, our soul will be reunited with our resurrected body at the final resurrection. It is important to remember that humans are not just physical bodies. God created us to be both body and soul, existing together in perfect unity. So we don't just have our body, we have our soul. The soul will live on. The soul joins the body at conception, when the baby is first starting to form in the mom's tummy, and will live on after the body dies. You may notice that many young people look like their parents in some way. They might have similar sounding voices or similar facial features. Sometimes they have the same color eyes or hair. That is because physical bodies are determined to a great extent by the parents' genes. It's biology. Okay, you get some from the mom, you get some from the dad. When God made Adam, he formed the soil into his body and then breathed life into him. We see that in Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. Like Adam, we also have God's breath or spirit within us. Each of us has a soul that comes from God, and that is united with our bodies when we are conceived in our mother's womb. Although our bodies will one day get old and die, our soul never will. So just like you have some characteristics from your mom and your dad, you have stuff from God. Because look, going back to it, Adam and Eve were the first man and woman. So God breathed life into Adam, and that we're all descendants. We all come down from Adam. So which we really can't, but if we were to trace ourselves all the way back to Adam, we would see that we have God, we have that essence that he breathed into Adam, that was in Adam's genes, it was in his children's genes and their children's genes, and it just keeps going down. So we are created from God. He breathed life into us. So just like you have some of your parents as part of you, I know my daughter Rosa, I call her my mini-me, because there's so many things about her that are very similar to me. Not just her appearance, but some of her mannerisms, some of her characteristics are very similar to me. So she's my mini-me. Okay, you probably have similarities to some of different things from your parents. Okay, it gets passed down. We all have God in us also. So we have that soul from God. So God created human beings, making them to be like himself. God looked at everything he had made, and he was very pleased. That's in Genesis chapter 1, verses 27 and 31. When God created Adam, he did not want him to be alone, so God created a companion for him. God does not want us to be alone either. Just as the Trinity is a communion of persons in loving relationship with one another, Remember, the Trinity is the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit all together. They're in communion. We are created to be in loving relationships with other people. And so we're meant to be with other people, not to be alone. And the biggest evidence of this is that God created human beings to be male and female. Men and women are created to be equal, but still different. Okay, we're not identical. Men are particularly good at some things, women are especially good at others. And it really doesn't matter for a lot of things if you're a man or a woman. It's what God gave you the strengths to be good at. God created us so that men and women would need each other and bond together in close relationships. This is why the union of one man and one woman in marriage is directly imprinted on the human family by God's law. The creation accounts in the Bible explain why human beings need communities, especially families. Those families are so important. As a baby, you would not survive without your family, without somebody taking care of you. Sometimes we're in the family that we were born into. Sometimes our families change over time. We get new people into our families. The family makeup can be varied, but the family itself is what is important. That you have people in your lives who love you and take care of you. So with that, we are going to look at the second section, Body and Soul, on our reading guide. We have our word choices in the word bank. Decide which letter goes with which definition and fill in those letters. It was a short class today, so we're going to fill that in, and we're going to say goodbye to our friends at home and hope you have a good day.